Reports emerged this morning and over the last 24 hours that Liverpool Football Club will do everything they can to sign Darwin Nunez this summer. Of course, Manchester United have been heavily linked with this forward in the last 3 to 4 days. Talks of it being pretty close, very close, extremely close to a Manchester United deal and breakthrough have emerged. This very much echoes and follows on from what Dean Jones and Ben Jacobs said. The very and highly credible United Muppeteers said, from our sources, confidence that United are closing in on deals the Timber and Nunez, whilst the Frankie de Jong case continues to remain open. I would expect medicals and announcements to be done while the players are with international teams. And it appears that Manchester United are, of course, believing the news may be, the hype may be, that Liverpool or other suitors could come in for Darwin Nunez. They appear to want to get this deal done and over the line quickly. But there's still a lot of people that are not sold on Darwin Nunez. There's still a lot of people that think he is overhyped, that he isn't as good a player as his price tag would suggest. We're going to delve into that. We're also going to look into the story today that Inter Milan are going to offer a £20 million 1-year loan offer for Lukaku with an option to buy in 2023 of 65 million. Could Chelsea be about to recoup 85 million of the 100 million they laid out on the forward? We're going to do that and give you a bit of a roundup, including Gnabry, Dembele, and more. Hit that like button, hit that share button. Let's do this. Morning, welcome back to the Terrace live early morning phone-in show for you all. It's been a few days since we've done a call-in, so I'm going to put the link into the live comment section now for you to come on and for you to have your say this morning on these transfer stories. I know there's been a lot of news in the last few days, and yeah, people can tweet and they can comment in the section, but there's not a lot of places that give fans a voice, and we like to continue to do that. Big up, Josh Smith. Hope you're well, my friend. Hope you are good. David straight in says Nunez is one that can go either way. I think a lot will depend on the situation he arrives in, but he's young, scores goals, and will only get better. Look, I'm not going to change my stance on Darwin Nunez. I've watched a number of games. There's been moments where I thought, oh, wow, that looks good. There are other times where the touch has been off, and I just felt he's looked a little bit, I don't know what the word for it is. Football hipsters would say, like, he ain't techie. That's probably the expression that I would use. But there are moments where he looks really, really good. On the positive side of things, it appears that Jurgen Klopp wants him. And Erik ten Hag, a manager that most people will say, whether he's an elite level manager or not, would say he's a top level coach, appears to want him. He's his number one priority. So I kind of look at the situation and think I'm going to remain open-minded about it. I'm not going to get overly gassed and excited, but open-minded about it indeed. There's no doubt. But the story that we're talking about today is that Liverpool will reportedly do everything they can to sign Darwin Nunez this summer. This coming from credible sources out of Portugal. They are involved in this deal. They want to look at this deal and try to make it happen. It's interesting as well. This is coupled with other news also shared here by the Anfield edition that Serge Gnabry and Christian Pulisic are both candidates to boost Liverpool's attack this summer. That coming from the Mail. And look, Liverpool have got to do something. We'll keep this on Liverpool for a moment. Liverpool have to respond to the brilliance in the signing of Haaland. Now, look, it's funny because there's a few clips that have gone out of me in the last few days about predictions that I've got wrong. And everyone will know I can clip up all my wrong predictions. 1, that isn't going to kill the football terrace. 2, it isn't going to make me lose followers. 3, it isn't going to make me think anything other than, what else have you got to do with your life? It's not really a slight on me because all people, from the great Thierry Henry, who's a pundit, right down to little old me, we all get things wrong. But this statement, right now, I believe in. Erling Haaland to Man City is a game changer for a team that are already top of the league. And Liverpool need to respond. Liverpool need to do something. Serge Gnabry, Darwin Nunez. I mean, the Christian Pulisic one, I'm going to say straight away, cannot see that at all. Like, I cannot see it. I don't even understand that link, if I'm being honest. It's a weird one to me. But Gnabry, I get. Darwin Nunez, I get. Darwin Nunez feels more like a Liverpool signing than a Lewandowski or a Harry Kane, even though I think Liverpool actually need to go for someone ready-made. That's my personal feeling. I can see this happening. I can see this being something that is focused on by Jurgen Klopp. The price is going to be around 60 to 65 million pounds. Goal scoring is the hardest thing to do in football. Goal scorers of high numbers are they're a finite commodity. You can't get away from it. They always come at a premium. And yes, there's a rawness to Darwin Nunez, but there was a rawness to Jota when he went and lit the place up in terms of his goal scoring. You've got Luis Diaz. When he signed, just go back and look at what some pundits, some content creators, some football fans were saying about him. You know, they were really, really condescending, as it were. Oh, he ain't going to do this. He's not going to do that. Nobody was really talking about Luis Diaz either. Let's have it right. I'm on this platform every day. And it wasn't like the comment section was bombarded with, in the summer, nobody was bombarded in the chat boxes. We've got to sign this guy. We've got to sign that guy. What I feel is happening right now, though, is depending on who's linked with Darwin Nunez, people's opinions of how good or bad he is are shifting quickly. Very, very quickly indeed. Because he was a player that, again, I remember, as the latter stages of the Champions League were kicking off, everybody was like, I got to watch him, baller, baller, baller. He gets heavily linked with a move to a particular club in Manchester. Suddenly, he's an overhyped average footballer. Now, I've always sat on the fence and said, I don't really know how good he is. But Man United are looking at him. Liverpool are looking at him. They may be looking to come and hijack this deal. And I want your thoughts and I want your feelings on it. You can call in. The link is in the live comment section. I want to hear from you today. I really, really do. Terry, why can't you just wait for the official confirmation when a player is officially unveiled by a club? Because that's not what football fans do, my friend. Growing up culturally around football, when you'd see when I was a kid, pretty much it was in the newspapers, you'd see the stories. Then Sky Sports came along. What you and your friends, you and your family, you and your work colleagues would do is sit there and discuss the transfer rumors. Was it a good signing, bad signing? How much for? Who would you prefer? Will he work? Could someone else come in and take him away? Oh, I'm gutted. He's a player I've wanted for 2 years and now he's going to my rivals. That is part of football culture and football fandom. The Football Terrace is about football culture and about football fandom. So to remove, we're not going to act. We're not a news outlet. You can call it alternative news if you want, but we are a fan outlet, my friend. So we will talk about the speculations. We will talk about the rumors. We will talk about the players. And then we turn it into a football conversation. So what we now want is your opinion on the footballer, as opposed per se to the rumor. That's what it's all about. And I think as well, Jack and the Headbangers, I think you understand the element of football culture. I just think you're being a little cynical, trying to throw a little bit of the old salt. It's very early in the morning for salt, by the way. I don't eat salt this early. Terry, any news on Lewandowski and where he's going? Well, of course, we had the update yesterday from the brilliant Ben Jacobs. Go back and watch the Done Deal show from yesterday. But the short answer is no. There is no current update on the situation. He is informed Bayern Munich officially that he wants to leave. Chelsea have shown interest. Barcelona have shown interest. Chelsea's is very hard to get done. Chelsea's is quite hard to get done as it stands right now. But if Lukaku goes to Inter Milan, which is what this story is about today, that Inter Milan are looking to offer £20 million for a one-year loan deal with a additional 65 million offer on top. Now, I'm not sure whether that's an obligation or an option. Chelsea would push for that to be an obligation to buy. If that happens, it may change. But my understanding through all the stories that I've read and conversations with journalists that I've had is that Lewandowski favors Barcelona and Barcelona want him. But then that throws up a whole can of worms because there are still so many reports coming out of Spain. Now, I said last night I I spoke about. Sorry, Sorry, there's a super chat that just made me laugh by Liam. I'll put it up in a minute. I. He says video title is about transfers. No. Yeah. We talk transfers on the terrace. It's what we like doing. Not all channels do it. I don't know what to say. Thank you, there, my old mate Liam. There's still reports that suggest that Barca are in absolute financial mess. Got to sell players to bring Lewandowski in. They owe 50 odd million pound to PK. So I don't know how they get Lukaku done. Sorry, Lewandowski done. If they don't get Lewandowski done and he's open and available, there are going to be options. But that's where things kind of stand. Terry, where's the envelope? Obviously, the envelope, the PlayStation 3 was won by Jason a few weeks ago. We haven't done a new one soon. We'll be relaunching the secret phrase. But Jason's had, in fact, Jason was sent the money for his PlayStation 3 because he found somewhere that was going to get it for him. And he's had that. So, yes, people won those prizes. Someone's got the Xbox we gave away. Someone's got the cash and the PlayStation that we gave away. That's it, my guys. Sometimes I feel like you all come on and try and call me out like we haven't followed through with these promises. By the way, scarves have also been delivered now for our members. I'll show you the email trail. I'll put the email trail on the members page. Their couriers took about 3 weeks. They kept on saying they couldn't find the building. It's one of the biggest buildings you'll ever find. One of the biggest buildings you'll ever find in the middle of one of the busiest streets in London, but they found it. But yeah, again, that's not a weird comment, but thank you. Abdul here says Nunez was playing in Spanish League 2 in 2020. He's a hype job, and this could be true, and absolutely. But I also remember that Riyad Mahrez and N'Golo Kante were playing like Division 2 level in France before they went to Leicester, right? So there are lots of examples of players being at a lower level and then elevating their game. So I'm just intrigued to see how it turns out in relation to that. Abdul's actually backstage, going to get him on in a few moments to have his say. Tchouaméni to Real Madrid, is he done? It's pretty much done. It looks as though that is going to happen and be over the line. Again, Ben Jacobs gave that update to us yesterday that all things look like it's absolutely ready to go. In fact, Fabrizio just tweeted again about just about Barca. It's come up on my screen that says Barca won't change their plans on Christensen and Kesse. Both deals are already agreed and completed on a free transfer. They can't be registered because of the financial fair play situation. Both players have received guarantees from Barca. Matter of time. Listen, this isn't a dig at Fabrizio. This is just a thing about Barca. The news was like that about Messi's new deal. Guarantee, matter of time, and then it didn't happen. It wasn't a PS3. I meant PlayStation 5. Whatever the most recent one is. Did I say PS3? I just showed my age there. Liverpool should go for Tony, Terry. He fits them perfectly. Can at least get 20 plus goals. Listen, I like Tony. I think I watched him this year. I was impressed by him. I think he's a good player. I really, really do think he's a good player. Yes, I do mean PS5. I do. A lot of you are calling that out. Sorry, slip of the tongue. Comment here from Erin says Nunez is promising. As I say, I'm remaining firmly on the fence with this one. There's been elements I've seen of him that I've been happy with, elements I haven't. In terms of a recap for anyone who is just tuning in, reports coming out of Portugal that Liverpool will do everything they can to sign and, of course, hijack the Darwin Nunez deal to Manchester United this summer. The Muppeteers have followed up on a number of stories that we have shared via Dean Jones and Ben Jacobs, that United are confident in closing deals on Timber and Nunez. It says I wouldn't expect medicals and announcements to be done whilst the players are on international duty. It's interesting because that kind of mirrors a little bit what was said by the Mirror, that United kind of want to get medicals done while they're away on international duty. So it's one of those things where there appears to be almost no smoke without fire. Other Liverpool news, Gnabry, Pulisic linked. I want your thoughts and feelings on that. I'd like to know. But Gnabry's an interesting one, which we're going to speak about for a minute, because Mateus here, of course, Bayern legend, says that if Mane signed to Bayern, there would be too many offensive wingers in the club. And when he says offensive, he doesn't mean rude. I saw someone reply to this tweet again. What do you mean? Are they rude? He says, with Gnabry, Sane, and Coman. Which says Gnabry, it smells at least somewhat like farewell. It speculates Mateus. So you've got these links to Gnabry to Liverpool, of course, Gnabry to Arsenal. Arsenal fans keep pushing it. I keep seeing Arsenal fans push Gnabry to back to Arsenal. Be a good signing for Liverpool, though, wouldn't he? It plays out wide, though. Do they not need someone more central because Luis Diaz is here? Or do you have three players fighting out for three players fighting for two positions? Do they move Mo Salah more central? Is that going to be the key? I'd like your take. I'd like your view. I want your opinion on this, my people. Now, I'm going to go to my first caller of the day. I'm going to go to Abdul to come on and have his say. What you saying, my friend?
Hey, Terry. Can you hear me clearly?
I am. I can, my bro. How are you?
I'm good, man. How are you, Terry?
I'm very well. I'm very well.
That's good to hear, Terry. I'm actually looking forward to seeing your hairline, Terry. Like, all jokes aside. You've been building up for a while, Terry.
Well, do you know what it is? It's like, very quickly, it takes time. So it's going through another shedding process at the minute where So what happens is the hair on the back of your head where they take from is a lot thicker than the hair on the front and top. And I don't know how to explain it scientifically, but the hair kind of knows that. So it keeps shedding itself until it matches the density of the rest of it. And then you have to let it grow. And as you trim it down, it'll all be the same length. So it takes 12 months, but I will reveal it a lot less than 12 months. It's a long process, but yeah, that'll be out soon, my friend. What are you here to say today?
A couple of things, actually. I'm gonna try to sum it up. I don't want to talk for too long. I know there's other people waiting, so I'm just gonna say it quickly. In regards to the Nunez, this is just my opinion, Terry, but the thing with Nunez and Nkunku, for me personally, Terry, when a club is demanding 80 million for a player, I would personally like for them to have had more than just one standout season. And the thing you see with Nunez and Nkunku, first of all, Nunez doesn't even play in a top 5 league, and he's only had one standout season at the age of 22. With Nkunku, he's 24 years of age, and he's only had one standout season. And when a club is demanding 80 million for a player, the reason why I understood why Sancho was valued at 80 million or even 90 million is because we saw him doing it consistently year upon year upon year. And I just think for a club like Liverpool or a club like Manchester United, you don't want to be taking such a big risk on such a young player who is very unproven, in my opinion, because it's just one season. If he had put up 20 plus goals 3 seasons in a row, yes, we can talk about it. But one season, Terry, 80 million, I think that's too big a risk to take, in my opinion. But that's just my opinion.
Listen, on that, let's just address it. I understand where you're coming from because this is a player who I haven't watched enough. I know, listen, we all get predictions wrong. So, I was somebody that thought Sal Niguez would do well in the Premier League. He hasn't. I'm somebody that thought Lukaku would score goals in this Chelsea system, and he didn't. At the same time, I thought Kulusevski was going to be a brilliant signing, as an example. So we get some right, we get some wrong because no one actually knows. We all have an opinion, but we don't actually know. The positives here for Man United fans, as an example, because they seem to be closer, is some top teams and top managers want Darwin Nunez. So that tells you that football clubs, that especially Liverpool, that have a very good pedigree in recent years of signing the right players, generally speaking, are interested in him. So there must be an element of quality ability in there, if that makes sense.
100%. 100%. But Liverpool also...
Go on.
Liverpool also wanted they were desperate for Werner as well, and you've seen how Werner turned out. So,
I hear you on that, but don't you think it's horses for courses in terms of Werner may not necessarily done as poorly at Liverpool as he's done at Chelsea, if that makes sense.
I completely agree. Yeah, I completely agree. He would have done better at Liverpool. I think he would have suited the system more. I agree with that. But just to move on to my second point is, because I heard you talking about Barca's finances, and I just wanted to clarify some things because there's a lot of false information circulating around the media. So the big misconception that's happening currently is Like Barcelona's financial situation, and actually is nothing new because they were in the same situation last season. Is it's not a lack of money. Barca don't have, like, it's not that they don't have, they're not broke. The problem with Barca is their wage bill is so disproportionate. It's in such a disproportion to their income that it's causing problems with the financial fair play in La Liga, because La Liga in during COVID, unlike the Premier League and unlike many other leagues, the La Liga didn't allow clubs to write off their losses, and therefore Barcelona, they are in a situation where. Can you still hear me, Terry?
Yeah, I'm listening.
Can you still hear me?
Yep. Yep, well, I can hear you.
Hello?
Yeah, we can still hear you.
I can't hear you, but can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, I'll just keep talking, and then when I'm going off, I'll just go off. So they are in a situation now where they don't necessarily have to sell. Barcelona, they are in a situation now where they have opportunities to raise money through selling assets, and they are currently looking at selling some assets, such as like Barcelona merchandise licensing and Barcelona studios, which can raise hundreds of millions of euros. So Barcelona, they're in a situation now where they have to increase revenue to be able to get a higher wage cap so that they can register players. So what's it called? For Frankie De Jong, for example, the big issue that he has is that currently Barcelona, if they do not end up selling any assets such as Barca licensing and Barca studios, they will have to sell players. It just depends on which route they're going to go down, selling players or selling assets. Right now, it's more likely they're going to sell assets than players because they want to build a team around for Xavi. But you never know. You never know, and it really, for me, it depends on what the player really wants and whether or not Ten Hag can convince him.
Yeah, look, look, Frankie De Jong. I've said it all along. Of course, there's an element of excitement amongst fans. Wow, this could be good. However, I've always felt that, like, when I saw the interview yesterday, I don't want to leave. I mean, I don't understand why people were so shocked. He doesn't want to leave. Of course, he doesn't want to leave. I've never felt that him leaving was about him not wanting to be at Barca. It just comes down to Barca's financial situation, and it's a big if they have to sell, then he may have very little choice. And if he really loves the club, and look, we've got to sell you so he can move forward, then he maybe has to fall on his sword. But it's going to be an intriguing thing to see what happens at Barca, because again, they can't register players that they've signed. The likes of Kesse and Christiansen are waiting, and everything else. And look, they might sell these assets, but then it all depends how quickly this money comes in, how quickly they can show it on their accounts, etc., etc. And as you say, I wouldn't say that I haven't really read too much misinformation. It kind of mirrors what you've just said. What is uncertain is that there's an element of murkiness to it. I don't disagree. Abdul, thanks for coming on, mate, and having your say. Are you on Twitter? Abdul, I don't know if he's on Twitter. He ain't going to come back and speak. Thanks for chatting to us, Abdul. We'll speak to you again soon. Top man. Thank you. Next on the show, CFC Matty is here. Chelsea fan. What are you saying, my friend?
How's it going, Terry? You all right?
Yeah, I'm very, very well. What do you want to say this morning?
I tell you what, if there's rumours for Lukaku leaving, and I've sent you something on Twitter just now, that's pretty good. I'm really, if we're going to get rid of him. I mean, to be fair, Terry, at the start of the season, I wanted Haaland. So at the end of the day, he hasn't really worked out. So if he goes back to Inter, that's fair enough. As far as Pulisic's concerned to Liverpool, that's a bit of a turn up, really. I mean, to be quite honest with you, Terry, I'm happy to drive him there myself. But that's just me personally. But yeah, I mean, the problem is at the moment with us is that I can't see us signing somebody at least for at least a week. So it's going to take us time for us to even get these signings done, which is annoying because we're losing targets really, especially when Barcelona are knocking on the door of Jules Koundé. So that'll be interesting.
Yeah, look, I don't believe the Pulisic ones. I just something about that injury prone. hasn't really delivered. I cannot see for the life of me why Liverpool Football Club would want Christian Pulisic or Timo Werner. I can't see that at all. The Gnabry link in the Mao, that makes a lot more sense for me, especially with the kind of players that, you know, Bayern Munich are looking at certain individuals. There's also talk, though, that Sane is not very happy at Bayern Munich either. So there's possibilities of him leaving. If he leaves, maybe Gnabry stays. We don't know. But listen, I think Chelsea will start picking up pace really, really soon. It's still only the 1st of June. The transfer window still isn't officially open, and lots of work going on behind the scenes. Matty, top man for coming on and having your
Cheers,
say.
Terry.
Cheers, Matt. Thank you. We've got young Tommy to come, Lord Nelson to come. We've got Mo to come on the show. But do me a favor and hit the like button and make sure you're subscribing to the Football Terrace today. Let's do some more of your comments. 20 million loan offer with 60 million option to buy for Lukaku. It's exactly what the story that we've been speaking about today. There's also new reports now, which Matty just mentioned, coming out of Grazia Italia. Again, a fairly credible source. You know, only 1.8 million followers, verified outlet, that Inter have reached an agreement with Lukaku around a salary of 7.5 million. Now, this matches what Eurosport and some other outlets were talking about with this 20 million loan deal, because they have said that Lukaku, if he is to leave, is going to have to take a big, big pay cut, a huge pay cut to get this done. So let's see what happens in this space. I'm very intrigued. Very, very intrigued indeed to see what happens with that. Sane will go to Liverpool as he and Pep were beefing. Oh yeah, well Sane. Yeah, well, yeah, just to get back at him. So you shouldn't have let me go. Still an interesting one, Sane. Again, just another player. And maybe it's because he's been away for a while, and I don't watch the league he's in now. But just kind of like, I don't want to say underwhelming, but hasn't hit the heights that people predicted him to. I mean, this kid was spoken about to be like Ballon d'Or worthy ability. Not quite there, but we will see. Let's have a look at some more of these comments. Darwin Nunez move to Liverpool is what Hassan Khan has got to say here. Listen, if you actually listen to what Ben Jacobs said yesterday, that's the big fear for Man United in this deal. United feel they're close. Man United feel they've done everything. Man United are leading the race for this player. But if Liverpool are serious, they can take him away from Man United. Let us not get it twisted. He can take him away from Manchester United without a shadow of a doubt. Without a shadow of a doubt. So, look, for me, I want to word this in the right way. If you're a United fan, you want Darwin Nunez and these Liverpool links are real, be fearful. You'll probably get Liverpool fans that want to play it down at the moment. Some will say because Darwin isn't good enough. You'll also get another group of fans that will say, well, we don't want to confirm the links in case Man United get him over us. Because certain Liverpool fans will look at it from the point of view, if we confirm that we're looking at him, talking to him, and quote unquote the story today that Liverpool will do everything they can to sign him. If Liverpool fans believe this and then Man United get him, they leave themselves open to, that he chose Man United over us. We got rejected. Everybody hates being rejected. This is where the weakness of football fans, and I'm not calling out Liverpool fans per se, all fan bases have got this percentage of their supporters that are so scared to see their clubs get rejected. Yesterday, I was getting DMs. Dion's rejected you in the mud. I don't feel any way. Do you know what's interesting about that situation with Dion? My biggest concern was that we don't move on from it quickly. My biggest concern is that we keep chasing Dion and taking our eye off the ball from other deals for 2 months and end up with nobody. Being rejected is normal. Liverpool Football Club have been rejected for Tchouaméni and Kylian Mbappe this summer. And I use Liverpool as the example because they're one of the best teams in the world right now. One of the best teams in England. Their club is run impeccably. They've got Jurgen Klopp. They've got some of the best players in the world across all positions. And they're still being told no by particular players. When Man United were in their pomp under Sir Alex, Alan Shearer, Paul Gascoigne, Gabriel Batistuta, they're three that stand out to me of players that rejected us. This notion that it's embarrassing to be rejected, I get there's a bit of banter in there, but it's more learn to take the banter. Have a bit of fun with it, for God's sakes. It's as simple as that for me. It's as simple as that. Abdul here says, "What would your plan be for Nuno and De Jong be?" Do you know what's interesting? Up front, I'm not going to lie to you. In attack, look, I've watched a lot of stuff recently of Christopher and Nkunku. I like the look of him. I quite like Ivan Toney. A lot of people don't. A lot of people think he's overhyped. I quite like him. Outside of them two, I haven't put too much thought into it. Midfield's a little bit different for me, though, Abdul. So with Liverpool, I look at it from the point of view of... Sorry, Liverpool. With midfield, I know there's a court case, but I would go Basuma, Ruben Neves. Collectively, the cost is about the same as Frankie de Jong, but you get two players and you get quality throughout. You know, I'm a fan of Declan Rice. I think he's an excellent footballer. But anything over £80 million is too much money for him, in the sense of the squad needs more than a Declan Rice to make it work. There was this weird notion last year that a DM and Man United can challenge. The same people are now telling me I'm crazy to expect top four from this squad. I think a good quality DM is needed and will help transform Man United's team, but we need more. I would go Basuma, Ruben Neves. I did want Kamara. He's obviously gone to Aston Villa. And I'm sure you all have got a number of different players that you think should come in, but those two just stand out to me as the right age, the right physicality, the right technical ability. The Prem-proven thing, listen, there's lots of players you sign that are not Prem-proven that do a really good job. I always think there's a slight less risk when you have seen someone do it in this league already. But those two, of course, there's Bruno Fernandes already at the club. Donny's going to get another chance. I'm intrigued to see what Fred can do under this manager. And there's one other player that's not being mentioned enough for me. I want James Garner to be given an opportunity and a chance to play. I don't know what he'll do in the Prem, but I want to see him given an opportunity in that Manchester United midfield. Comment here says Basuma and Neves in the pivot. I just think it's sensational. Whether you pay 4-3-3, 4-2-3, I don't really care about the formation. You suddenly have options and everything else there. Billy says, absolutely agree with you, Terry. I want United to go. I don't want United to go all out for Frankie de Jong and abandon other areas. Now, I hear you, and this is the thing where Man United fans have got to stay level-headed on this. Our approach in the market, in some respects, is more important to me than who we sign. And a lot of people think that's a warped way to view things. But we ended up with Cavani and Ahmad, who have both been poor signings because we chased Sancho all summer and didn't get him 2 years ago. We can't continue to make those types of mistakes. We ended up with Fellaini for about £10 million more expensive than he should have cost because we ended up chasing the wrong players. In fact, we didn't even chase the wrong players in the summer of 2013. We said no to people like Toni Kroos. Or is it Cesc Fabregas? Maybe that was a year later. We've done so many bad things. I forget the linear timeline now. Mo's on the show with us now this morning. Big Man United fan. What are you saying, mate?
No, not too bad, Terry. I hope everything's well with you. Yeah, I mean, I think being rejected is fine, Terry. That's not a problem. It's having a plan like every other football club. I just don't think Man United at this moment in time, even if they got Erik Ten Hag, the appointment of Ralf Rangnick leaving for the last 6 months, him leaving, I'm a bit concerned about their transfer policy. We'll see. I don't think they have a plan per se. I think they do kind of have a couple of players in mind, but what is their plan going forward? Like, are you telling me where trusting Richard Arnold, Darren Fletcher at the transfer market, them two, and Erik Ten Hag? I think he's going to need a bit more help. I mean, if Ralf Rangnick stayed there, I know he wasn't a good manager, but the guy built football clubs. You know what, today? I think I've always said it, and I'm not being negative or anything, but I just don't see. I was quite positive, but I just don't see Man United going places under these owners, Terry. Like, I'm pretty much convinced that I don't think they'll have a good. I think they'll have an okay summer. I think Ten Hag would do okay, and I think we'll be having these conversations on the football test for a long, long time to come. I don't think these this conversation will change. I think under the Glazers, nothing will change to it. I can bet my bomb dollar on that. They need new owners.
No, I understand they need new owners. We all want new owners. What's interesting this year, you've got John Myrtle in the director of football role. The deputy now is Andy O'Boyle. Now, Andy O'Boyle, again, it's when I read his name, I thought his name was going to trigger people because it's an Irish name. It's not exotic. It's not, oh, wow, what's he done? You look at his CV, who he's worked for, what he's done. Someone says to me, but he was a fitness coach. How does he know how to run a club? Well, the man currently being lauded for running Ajax was a goalkeeper. So, like when you say it like that, it's like, oh, what does he know? Obviously, Ten Hag's been a director of football. Has been part of a big structure over there. He's got obviously Van der Gaal, how you pronounce it, assistant. You've got Steve McLaren, who again is a coach and his assistant is very well touted. You've got Darren Fletcher, and you've got now Andy Dawson that's in. The names might not excite everybody, but the one thing I would say is this, and I'm not overhyping, I'm not getting carried away, I'm remaining level-headed to see what happens. Yeah, because I think sometimes when you cloud yourself with it's not going to work, you don't see the positives. The most important thing is this: it isn't even the names of these individuals. I'm focusing on what Richard Arnold has said. Are we going to let those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 football people make the footballing decisions? What we have to remember that was different under the Woodward era is Woodward would get heavily involved in all the processes that are now going on, negotiations, deciding who comes in, who goes, telling managers no to selling players, etc. That was a banker with no footballing qualifications or experience telling football people how they should run and operate things. We've had good scouts at the club, and we know this because of the stories of players that have been pushed to the club and say we should buy this individual. And we've said no, right? It's not been the individual people in their footballing roles that have been necessarily the problem. It's how they've been told to operate. I'm now more focused on what Richard Arnold does, because if Myrtle and O'Boyle and Ten Hag are allowed to operate and make the footballing decisions, I'm confident that there can be an improvement. Why can we win under this model? If they're good enough at their jobs, is we won Premier Leagues and FA Cups and League Cups and Champions Leagues under the Glazers already, but we had David Gill and Fergie running the club. Now, yes, you had the greatest manager of all time. That really helps. But there can be improvements. We just need to have a plan, continuity to that plan. And essentially, it sounds like a silly thing to say, but you could have a doctor in your house, a doctor, right? This guy is better than Doctor Strange at surgery. He's the man. But the problem is your boiler's broke. Who are you going to listen to? My dyslexic brother that's a qualified gas and heating engineer, or a doctor with 6 degrees and 10 masters and 120,000 letters after his name, but he doesn't know anything about plumbing. This is the point. Man United are like, do you know what? We're going to speak to the more educated person about how to fix the boiler because he's got degrees, not the person who's a specialist. And it's almost like that's how done we've been as a football club. And if we get that right, I have hope that we can turn things around. However, let me just finish off by saying I've had a lot of people call me out for this recently, saying I always get overhyped about the direction the club's going in. I'm not being overhyped. I'm just being level-headed. I'm skeptical like you, but I'm just willing to relax myself and see what happens first. That's all.
Terry, I just want us to also, Terry, certain players at the football club, I'm not naming them, but they're on holiday. All this time you wanted to leave, but now you're not coming out with anything, man. Just leave from the football club. Certain players are on holiday. They're at basketball games, stuff like that. I don't know when I think their contract expires this month. When that deal is done, Terry, I'm not calling them out, but we need a fresh start as well, Terry. Certain players need to leave. Like, they've been at the club for 4 or 5 years and haven't done anything. And it's not been all their fault. It's been our fault as well. It's 50-50. But the worst case scenario, Terry, and this I'm really fearful of this, is that player that does a U-turn and stays at the football club. I think if that player stays at the football club, Terry, I'll be devastated.
I understand your opinion, my friend Mo. Thanks for calling in and having your say. Top man. Thank you. Comment here says Pep wouldn't win at this club. Not if it wasn't structured or run right. Pep wouldn't win at Man City if they weren't run right. Pep wouldn't win anywhere if they weren't run right. No manager does, or not with any consistency anyway. Because I've been asking this question for over 18 months and I've still not been given an answer. and there was £5,000 up for grabs. Show me a club that is run terribly, that wins consistently. It's not even like a trick question or a hard one. Run things right. But you know what it comes down to? Rivals especially don't like to hear you blaming how your club is run, because it takes away the banter from the manager and the players. So they just want the low-hanging fruit. That's what it comes down to. My question is, couldn't Fred and Van der Beek play in a double pivot? Potentially. They could. I think that Ten Hag's going to try a number of options, but we need some better quality in the midfield as well. We need some quality. If you look at what's been said by Ten Hag, what he wants is hardworking, physically capable, quick, and highly technical football players. That's why when I think about, not necessarily they have to be lightning quick, but have some athleticism about them. It's why players like Basuma stand out to me, because I think he ticks every single one of them boxes. There's no doubt in my mind. We are talking, in case anyone has just arrived on the show today, make sure like buttons are being hit and you're subscribed. Darwin Nunez, Liverpool hijack. Reports from Portugal claim that Liverpool will do everything to try and sign him this summer. I want your thoughts and feelings on that today. Interesting comments here. What's the draw for Darwin Nunez to go to United rather than any other Champions League club in the Premier League or Europe? It's a really good question, Adam. And when you read the reports and you delve into this, the answer's quite clear. And rivals are not going to like this. If you hate Man United, maybe cover your ears. There is an attraction to Man United, firstly, because it's Manchester United. United still holds so much weight in the world of football. Whether people like it or not is true. The angle that Erik ten Hag is going down in this window, it's been fairly well documented across articles, is I'm going to rebuild this club. I'm going to get this club back to the peak of its powers. That's what he's selling to people. Do you want to be part of that? Do you want to be part of that revolution? Look at Liverpool players right now who have got this team back to winning major trophies. They are loved and admired in such a special way by that fan base. That is what they're going to sell. It's that outcome. It's that legacy building outcome. Of course, they're going to pay players a good salary in a good wage. They can afford to do that. They're Manchester United. But that is the angle they're going down. They know they don't have Champions League football right now, but they'll also flip the switch on a lot of these players. Yes, we don't have Champions League football today, but surely with your ability, playing in our first team, we're going to make it, right? Like, they may not word it in that way, but that's a selling point. How do we know it's going to work? Man United have signed multiple top-class football players, high-profile football players, good quality up-and-coming youngsters over the past 9 years when we've not been in the Champions League. And in fact, we've done it when we've had worse managers than Erik ten Hag. I think the changing behind the scenes also becomes a selling point as well. The fact you can show all the failed people from before are gone. It's a whole new crop of people. We're going to operate differently. There's an opportunity to sell that to people. I still think, though, back to your question, Adam, if Liverpool come in right now for Darwin Nunez, I think it is exceedingly difficult for Man United to get him, because all those things that United have on offer are readily available at a team like Liverpool, are readily available at a team like Manchester City, at Real Madrid. They're there, they're happening now. So it's a tough one. And that's why United are trying to act quick. And those elements of the stories always seem to go missing and they sort of slip through the net. But United are trying to operate quickly so they can get these deals done and nobody else can come in and quote unquote hijack them. But that's the sell point for Man United. And listen, this team has been in the Champions League twice in the last 3 seasons. Can they get back into it next year? Listen, if we make the right signings and the structure is improving at the club, Man United can make the top 4 next year. It's going to be hard. Liverpool, City, Chelsea, Spurs' Conte are going to be very, very difficult. Arsenal will be fighting for it. You've got Newcastle on the rise. But United can make it. United can do it. I think another great selling point for these players as well is, listen, if Man United can't make it back into the top 4 because there's 4 or 5 teams that are better than them, what a competitive league to be in. What an amazing place to come and play football. So there's so many avenues and get paid handsomely for it as well, by the way. So listen, I think there's a number of things that you can sell. There's no doubt about it. Someone here says, sent me a DM about Mo Salah. I read something about Mo Salah today that he's close to signing a new deal. I don't know where I saw that. I saw it on Twitter. I saw someone retweet something and somebody else retweet another thing. I swear, I'm pretty sure that I saw it. But yeah, there we go. On the show next, young Tommy is here. What are you saying, Tommy boy?
I'm all right. What about you, man?
I'm very, very well. What do you want to say today?
Well, Gnabry, yeah, I want him back because we shouldn't have let him go in 2006. I was gutted when he left us and we didn't give him a chance. But I actually want him back. Like I could see, imagine him, Martinelli, Saka, a good front three, or whoever striker we get. But yeah, Gnabry, actually, yeah, I want him back. He's welcome back to the Emirates. But yeah, because we do need a goal scoring winger. Like obviously Saka's finishing needs to improve. Obviously Pepe doesn't. He needs to score more goals as a winger. I want to see Martinelli down the middle as a striker. I want to see that next season. And yeah, Gnabry, because we need another winger in it. So I want to see Gnabry. Obviously, we got Reece Nelson. I want to give him a chance next week. So, but Gnabry will be good for him to come back. I'll be happy. Like he's a quality player. But yeah, he's welcome back to the Emirates.
Of course, he's welcome back because he'd be your best attacking player overnight. Can you see? Is Europa League football? Arsenal's current situation, Arteta, do you have enough pull, in your opinion, to bring him back as a collective club? Do you think you can do it?
Hopefully, we can because we've signed players without Champions League football. Pepe, Aubameyang. I think we can sign him without Champions League. I think we can. People can think I'm stupid, but I think we can sign him without Champions League. Hopefully, we can, but I doubt it's going to happen. But hopefully, we can sign him again. Re-sign him without Champions League, but. We'll see what happens, but hopefully we can re-sign him without Champions League football. It's just the way it is, bro.
Yes, look, it's going to be an intriguing one to see what happens.
I want to talk to you about Lukaku as well.
Go for it, my friend.
Yeah, Chelsea. Yeah, ship him back, bro. He's done nothing anyway. Like, what's he done? His link-up play is not good. Can't hold up the ball. His finishing is woeful. Yeah, I think it just hasn't worked out for him. Like, I think they should just ship him back to Inter Milan and Chelsea should get another striker, and yeah, so I think he needs to go back to Inter Milan. I think that's just I think he's just suited to the Italian league rather than Premier League. Because when people come to the Premier League, it just doesn't work out for them. Shevchenko didn't work out for him at Chelsea. Kejman, it didn't work out as well. Like most players just don't work. Varane, Diego Forlan just didn't work out for anyone. Just good players, which it's just Premier League is just different. It's just hard to hit the ground running. But yeah,
I hear you on that. I hear you on that.
To Inter Milan, isn't it? So
I hear you, Tommy. Thanks for coming on, mate, and having your say. Appreciate it, bro. Thank you. I think what's really intriguing about, again, there's a lot of football fans that are in the mud if this deal to Inter goes through. Chelsea won't get back their money for Lukaku. Sometimes football fans, I know banter is important, but sometimes, like, relinquishing your intelligence for the sake of banter sometimes is painful to watch, because of course they could recoup a lot of that money because he's proven to be able to do it in other leagues. So people always get annoyed when you're proven there's a premium. Well, Lukaku's flopped at 100 million. Chelsea could get 85 million pounds back for him from a team in a league where he's already been successful, where they know he can do it. Why? Because he's Serie A proven. So there's a premium with that. People get really twisted over, why is there a Premier League? Like, why is there a Premier League premium? Well, because if you know someone can do it in a particular league, it comes at slightly less risk. And the less risk, the more chance of reward. Therefore, it costs more money. If you research, I've told you guys on the channel for years, research KPMG and transfer structure. They've got a whole dossier out on exactly how players are valued. If you actually just read, it takes time to read. It's very, very meaty. You read it, your concept on transfers changes overnight. But people don't want to read it because when you know the facts, you can't banter as hard as supposed. But there we go. This guy says he wants Nelson back. Who wants Reece Nelson back? No. Speaking of Nelson, Lord Nelson's on the show now. What are you saying, Lord Nelson?
Yeah, I'm good, man. How you doing?
I'm very well. What do you want to say, my friend?
Darwin Nunez, huh? Yeah, so we don't need him, actually. Manchester United don't need him, but maybe Liverpool might need him. And I'm done with all these kind of buying players just because you want to get them from the other team or something like this. We have Ronaldo. Let him play. Ronaldo ain't going to share the spotlight with anybody. And if we buy a striker this season, we'll just like waste the money. So why don't we keep that money, try to develop one of our youth players? I think there was this guy, the best FA Cup youth player, he's from Manchester United. I've forgotten his name. We could develop that guy to become like a striker or an assistant striker under Ronaldo for a season. And next season, when Ronaldo is out of the club, we can get a good striker that comes in and is the guy. Like he comes in with that image and with the reputation and with the pressure to deliver. And if he has had a good season before he's in Manchester, then he can be able to perform actually. I think that's the best way to go with the striker situation, because Ronaldo ain't going to share no spotlight with nobody. And if you get a striker this season that was good one season wanderer, or maybe someone that has been good for a while, and he comes to Manchester and is not being played, or is being played out of position for a full season, that would actually dent their what do you call it now, motivation, and maybe their perception about themselves. Okay? So it's better we don't even try to get anybody than, because when you come into a new club, you want to have this belief that you could do it, you're the best and whatever. And you can imagine one full season of being under Ronaldo that is kind of...
No, I have to disagree with you, Lord Nelson. I'll tell you why I disagree with you. Because one, you want a player that can come in and go, I'm going to oust that guy out of the team. Secondly, it's a great test to see whether the club are really going to change its cultural approach. So an example would be, if Darwin Nunez is performing better than Ronaldo, let's see what the club does. And I'm throwing this out there. I want these things to happen. They're called acid tests, and I want to see.
Terry, you know that ain't going to happen, right?
Yeah,
you know that ain't going to happen.
But you're missing the point. You're missing the point. I want to test the club. I love all the players. I love a lot of the players we're linked to. I love the idea of Ten Hag. I love the idea of the formations and how we're going to play. What has been my number one focus for 9 years? You've been watching me a long time. The way we're run as a football club. So I want these things to happen so I can see whether their promise to us of change is true or not. Like for me, we need it to happen. Secondly, you can't just let players like Darwin Nunez go, because in a year's time, we don't know who the top up and coming strikers are going to be.
Well, Terry,
let me finish. But you say there's always someone new. Yes, there is. Yes, there isn't. You know, every year on this channel, I'll see comments from people saying we've got to buy these players, and you get all these new young names. A year later, they're talking about another young crop. But you need to strike while the iron is hot. And this guy is wanted by a number of clubs. He's clearly favoured by the manager, Erik ten Hag. And we need to give the manager what he thinks and feels he wants. But look, it's going to be an intriguing one. I get your point.
Terry, even if the iron is hot, sometimes it's best not to strike because you don't have the hammer to strike, right?
We don't know. Lord, you're doing my brain in. What do you mean we haven't got the iron to strike? We just employed Erik ten Hag. Do you not want to give him the tools to see whether he can do the job? Hang on. Lord, stop. I am triggered. Why would you not give the new manager the players that he wants? Because if we don't do that, we don't know whether he can manage or not at the club.
No, but he needs to we have to first of all develop the defense and the midfield first. Yes. Ronaldo can be a striker for one season.
We have one attacker. We have what? No. We have
academic players. You have players in the academy that can play.
They're not ready to be They're not strikers. We have one. Stop. We have one striker.
Elanga could be a striker,
Lord,
right?
Stop. We have one striker. Lord, we got one striker who's 37, bruv. How do we not need another striker?
We have Elanga also. We could play Elanga.
He's not a striker.
Fine. Well, we could manage.
We don't have another striker. How is it not pressing?
We could do with that for a season.
No,
at least just one season.
Goals are the most important part of football, my guy.
But we scored more goals last season when we had less strikers than this season when we had more. We didn't have more striker last season and we scored more goals. We could get Martial back to the team for one season before we let him go. We could stop. We need to buy a striker this season. We need to spend our money buying midfielders and defenders.
My guy, Lord Nelson, we need strikers, defenders, and midfielders. We need all three. What I'm going to say to you is this, my guy. go and have some bacon with that waffle this morning. You've just given us. Listen, all love. I know it gets heated, but it's all love, my friend. Thanks for coming on, Lord Nelson. We'll chat again soon. Thank you. Listen, people, see, Lord Nelson, regular caller, you can get animated with people and not become a beef. It's the way we operate here at the Terrace. My word. Oh, listen, I do get where he's coming from. But Man United fans have got to stop doing the bidding of the Glazers. And I mean this. We have to demand we buy the best we can and give the manager what he wants. That way we'll see if there's real change. I'll tell you why it's important. If we don't bring in Darwin, if we don't bring in a good midfielder, another top defender, and we just sort of buy a couple of fringy players and promote from youth, we'll have another year treading water going, well, the manager hasn't had his players yet. We can't judge him. We can't do that. Can't do it. Do you think Inter in a crisis can afford Lukaku? It's a good question. And from my point of view, I haven't done any real research in the last sort of 6 months into the financial situation that Inter found themselves in. It's a really good point. Are they over it? Have they paid off what they need to pay off? There is talk at Inter, though, that Lautaro Martinez could be on his way out. So if Martinez is to leave, that could very much open the door for him. You've got Bastoni that could be on his way out as well, 50-odd million pounds. So if Lautaro Martinez was to leave and Bastoni was to go, 100% they could afford Lukaku. But let's see what happens in that space. Terry getting his hair off. It's more just, we have to buy a striker. Like, if Man United don't buy a striker, we're in bits. We've got one 37-year-old. We're playing Europa League football. We've got a 37-year-old striker. Right now, we don't know if Rashford's going to recapture form. We don't have Martial is going to go, by the way. We don't have another striker. Like, we can't go into the season without one. I don't like our midfield, and we need midfielders. But we literally have one striker that's 37. In real life terms, we've got an older OA. I know he's the greatest ever. But come on, Lord Nelson, I love you, but it's a mad take. Next on the show, Safe is here with us. My stalker, Safe.
Finally, man. Finally, thank you. Listen, first of all, please stop lying to your viewers that Pep Guardiola was turned down by Manchester United. He wasn't.
Sorry. Stop. I missed the first bit. What did you say?
I'm telling you, stop lying to your viewers that Paul Gascoigne was turned down by Manchester United. Gascoigne turned down Manchester United. He didn't. Fergie turned him down. No, he didn't. Fergie.
Incorrect.
Incorrect. Let me talk to you like a 5-year-old child here, right? Alfred. Okay.
Tell me.
Manchester United in that area, we had Paul Ince, Paul Scholes, Roy Keane, Nicky Butt, and we had also so this David Beckham, Ryan Giggs. This were our midfielders. Paul Gascoigne, he thinks too much. He's a lot.
Okay, I've got to stop you. I've got to stop you. So, okay. Paul Gascoigne turned Manchester United down in the summer of 1988. Okay. David Beckham and Paul Scholes were 13 years old. They were not part of the Manchester United team in 1988. He did turn down Manchester United after agreeing to join us. And there's a very famous story that Spurs offered him a little bit more money, and they offered his sister a sunbed. And that was a turning point. So at the point when he rejected us, Beckham and Scholes were 13 years old. Ryan Giggs didn't sign for Manchester United until he was 16. So he'd have been 15 at the time. So Giggs wasn't even at Manchester United then. Paul Scholes, of course, weren't playing. Roy Keane, I want to say he was at Nottingham Forest, but he was a youth player himself at that point. He was a teenager. I don't even think Paul Ince was at Man United in 1988, if I'm being honest. I'm going to search that now. Paul Ince. 1 second. Paul Ince.
Listen, first of all, you need to
stop. I'm talking here. I'm going to educate you like your 5-year-old boy. Paul Ince in 1988 was at West Ham. It wasn't even at Man United. So all those players you mentioned, the reason that we turned down Paul Gascoigne, didn't even play for Man United or literally hadn't started puberty. My friend, take care of yourself, Safe. Take care. Goodbye. God bless. Nice try. Sunshine's here with me now. What are you saying, mate?
Morning, bro. How you getting on?
I'm good. Listen, I like Safe. I normally entertain him, but we had Beckham in 1988.
Oh,
Anyway, what are you saying, my friend?
I'm good. You know what, bro? I'm happy today. I was meant to be going to Manchester this morning to do some work, and then I got a phone call saying it was all cancelled. So that's why I'm still in my dressing gown, hair all out, blessed. So I'm good, man. I'm good. What are you saying now? What's this?
I'm good. I mean, there's talk. I want to ask you a question. So there's talk this morning that Liverpool could come in for Darwin Nunez. There's a lot of United fans that don't want him, don't rate him. We've had one caller say today we shouldn't even be looking at any strikers. We should just develop a Langer to play there this year. Do we need a striker? And if so, is Darwin Nunez the guy?
We definitely need a striker, no doubt about it. Some people look at Ronaldo's age as an issue. Some people don't think he'll be able to compete for the whole season. I kind of see the arguments for it. Not that I agree with it, but I see the arguments. But at the same time, when I look at a striker like Darwin Nunez, there's so much development that's needed. And I don't think for the price tag that has been quoted or reportedly quoted, I don't think his talent is that, especially when you can't really bank on whether he's going to develop the areas of his game that definitely need improving. A lot of people talking about the Lukaku touch, and as jokes as that is, it isn't. He's not quality with his first touch. His concentration isn't good on receiving balls. His movement, his finishing is without doubt quality, and I think that's where he gets the hype from. Give him a sniff of goal, he's all day. So that's not a problem. But I think Manchester United should not be spending anywhere near 50, 60 million on a Darwin Nunez when, respectfully, I'm pretty sure there are other players who aren't as talented but could still be developed to a better level for cheaper, especially when you look at the budget that Man United have.
Do you know what? Look, I think that's I look at that from a point of view. That's a fair point, and I'm not 100% sold on Darwin Nunez. I was saying to KJ yesterday privately that my hope for Darwin Nunez, he's one of these players where I go, I'm underwhelmed by it, but he absolutely blows my socks off because in fact, I've probably been a little bit too excited about some of the strikers and attackers we've signed in the last 5, 6, 7 years. You know, when we signed Falcao, when we signed the only striker that I really feel was I was excited about and he provided for us was Zlatan. Actually, he's the only one.
Yeah.
And the irony in that was he was attacked by United fans because he was too slow and too old. I think he just got and won a league title at 40. And sometimes Man United fans have just got to when it's not so much not having an opinion, but when someone was delivering for us, again, that was always them being angry that it was Martial that was pushed out to the left. That's the craziest part about it. Where's he now? Sevilla don't want him. So it's one of them. I agree with you. We need that attacker, and that because of the Mason Greenwood situation. If Greenwood weren't this scumbag who's got himself kicked out of the club, we could move him centrally. It wouldn't be a problem. I think by now he would have been
100%.
But that's what I say to a lot of United fans. You can't ignore that kind of elephant in the room that his situation, rightfully he's been removed from this football club, it's created another problem in the transfer window. And yes, there's only a limited budget, but you have to buy a striker because we've got one 37-year-old. And even if Cavani stay, I'm happy Cavani's going. That guy was never fit or didn't want to play. We've got no one in that area. And
agreed.
We can't have a 37-year-old Ronaldo play 50 games this season. He'll have that mid-season burnout again where he weren't able to score. Back end of the season, he got his second wind and he came strong. If we keep Ronaldo as fit and as fresh as possible in a Ten Hag system, he could deliver for us. So, yeah, we have to address those areas massively, mate. We really,
100%.
really do. What's your thoughts as well on the kind of restructuring at Man United we've seen with director of football, Andy O'Boyle coming in as a deputy, lots of new names in kind of managerial positions from a footballing perspective, and Richard Arnold saying we're going to let them run the football operation. Do you think that's the right way to go? And do you think the club will stick to that plan?
Good two questions. First question, I think they've got no other choice than to let the manager take over. I think if you look at the reason Ten Hag came in, from Manchester United's perspective, it's because, again, we need to rebuild. If you look at Ten Hag's previous jobs, beyond management, he's had a director of football's role at Juritic, I think it was. I can't say the name correctly. Apologies if someone's offended by that. But yeah, we need someone who understands structure and how to build clubs, but at the same time has a philosophy and a way of playing. I think this board has overrun its course. The fans were turning massively, which is great, of course, but it was getting to a point where it was getting sticky. And this manager now has come in here, identified issues, the reports in terms of guarantees that he was looking for before signing on the dotted line for Man United told me that he was ready to do it his way properly. And for that, I respect it, and I think the board have to honour that now, especially with the new guys in charge, I suppose, in terms of obviously the structural side of things. Whether the owners are going to stick at it, I'm not too sure. I'm genuinely not too sure, Terry. A part of me is frustrated and still worried at the fact that yes, there are previous links to previous players, but just like Darwin Nunez, we are seemingly being reported. And again, I could be wrong here, and I'll give you the flip side in a second. But initially, my fear is that we're looking at Pau Torres, who I'm sorry, but I'm pretty sure we were linked with him beforehand. So that worries me, because I'm thinking, well, this is before Ten Hag came. So am I right to think or suggest that we're looking at old players based on the board's old recommendations rather than Ten Hag's plan? So that's a worry. I look at Darwin Nunez again. He's a media hyped player. Where's the recruitment in this? What's the recruitment team doing? What are they looking at? And again, yes, these are reports. So these reports do worry me initially, but I'm open-minded enough to also take into consideration that it just may be because they are reports. People are just chatting a load of maca, I'll be honest. And with Ten Hag, maybe, just maybe, there's an opportunity for him to have conversations with the board and the guys, the team on the structure, sorry, and just say, look, I don't want no leaked reports. I don't want none of this rubbish. So let them chat. And maybe we could just see some surprise signings where we're not linked to anyone. So I'm open for that as well. But again, it's PTSD, as we like to say on Twitter Spaces, mate. With this club, we are struggling with the idea, or coming to terms with the idea, that the Glazers are fully backing, and I don't think they ever will. Even if they do 80%, I don't think that's still good enough, respectfully. So yeah.
Yeah, look, listen, the PTSD is there. There's no doubt, and it's an interesting thing for me. Like, a lot of people keep, you get too excited about this, or you think you're going to turn it around. I have no hope right now. I do have hope. I have hope we're going to do it, but do I believe we've turned the corner? No. It's seeing is believing. I'll call out the changes we've made, but it's okay. You've made those changes. I want to see something deliver against the back of them. And Frankie de Jong's a great example here. I said it at the top of the show. I'm not that concerned that he's rejected us. I'm more focused on how quickly we move on from him. That, for me, is a key sign that we've changed direction. It doesn't mean if we move on quickly from him, that's it. I'm happy with everything we're doing. I'm fully behind the club, back buying Man United kits, resubscribe to TV. Like, I have to see sustained progress. And I know it infuriates some of my viewers when I talk like this, but it's facts. Like, I'm not going to suddenly just buy into the club again and pump money back in just because of one improvement. That one improvement needs to lead to 10 improvements to 100 improvements over multiple seasons. And I believe if all those things happen, we'll improve as a football club. And it's just the message you send out. Like, the dressing room will see it and go, oh, look at that. We're acting like a proper football club. It makes your players work harder, concentrate more, behave better, because you're a serious operation. It's as simple as that.
100%.
Sunshine, really appreciate you coming on, mate, and having.
Been nice chatting again, bro. See you soon. Absolutely.
Yeah. Cheers, my bro. Thank you, viewers. Make sure you hit the like button and make sure you subscribe before you leave today. Straight facts this afternoon with Jess. More transfer news coming for you. Big Lukaku update on the way as well. Big Timber update later for you as well. Until next time, take care. Goodbye.